Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Paradise Killer for what may well be the conclusion to our story. I've just been taking a moment here to center myself with these fish that can apparently banish themselves into nothingness and then spontaneously reform from that same nothingness. Which is like, that's pretty impressive, fish relative. Most fish can't do that. You know, nature's full of miracles. So I took a moment and went ahead and hunted down the rest of those hearts. It turns out they were all just blood crystals, except, of course, for this one. This one, which is our great big gun. So with that, I do believe it is just time to do the thing, right? It's time to step up and have the trial. Let's make 100% sure we're clear on what happened here. So, 10 years ago, the murder of Grace Bloodlines. This is really important. Akiko left the room, she says, to check on Carmelina. But when she did that, she actually let Carmelina into the room, and Carmelina strangled Grace. Right, and then this creates this whole pretext for arresting Henry for murder, and then they have Henry where they want him, captive, until time for the other plan. Then, last night, we get this whole thing executed. There are two different plans to kill the council, but Carmelina's involved in... Carmelina's probably the one who planned both of them, right? She creates a situation where the council will be killed, with this plan with Yuri and Dainonagate, and then she also has a second plan where Witness is going to smuggle in a crate full of demons. And I think the goal there is so that she can, the Witness plan can get caught, Witness can be held responsible, Witness and the Daybreaks can be held responsible. She can look like the one who solved the murder of the previous council, and with everybody's blessings, take over the new council and be at the head of whatever remains of the syndicate. And so between those two plans, almost everyone's implicated, right? Akiko, Carmelina, we'll come back to these two. Not Henry, remarkably. Both the Daybreaks, Witness for sure, Yuri, it looks like One Last Kiss is just actually who she said she is, and not involved in the plan at all. Crimson is kind of, sort of, responsible, because Witness's plan couldn't have happened if Crimson hadn't gotten him the code for the thing, but... the code to activate the obelisks. But she says she doesn't know what she was doing, and she wasn't involved in the plan anymore after that. So, she knew she was breaking the rules, but she didn't know that it was going to lead to this, and I'm actually pretty conflicted on whether or not I believe her about that. And then Doomjazz is probably clean, right? The only part of this he could have been involved in, really, was giving Sam Kafka Memory's blood instead of Sam having to steal it. But honestly, yeah, I think Doomjazz is probably just clear. Am I wrong about any of this? He's a lazy asshole, but you don't go to jail for that. Do people go to jail? What is my plan here? Whatever. He's not guilty, is my point. I don't think he's guilty. So let's see. Doomjazz was learned that Montserrat was responsible for Doomjazz's father's death. Okay, there is this whole thing. But I don't think... there's any reason for us to think that he was involved. Okay, so as far as innocent people go, because it's a shorter list, One Last Kiss, but also One Last Kiss is kind of not a person, right? And then Henry's innocent, and Doomjazz probably, and Crimson maybe. Maybe. So I guess let's just do it, right? Let's just talk to the judge. I'm assuming I'm still not allowed to have my gun. Yep. When the time comes to execute justice, she will sing the song of punishment. We should all be so lucky.
The investigator.
Are you our savior as well? That's a great question. Is paradise worth saving? Who can even say? It kind of seems like no. My answer is no. Are you ready to start the trial that will determine the fate of the Syndicate? Have you found facts and crafted a truth? Yes, I think that's what I was just doing. I'm ready to work through this with you, Lady Loved Eyes. We shall examine your case files and cast a light upon the shadowy recesses where truth lies.
The door to truth will open.
Are you ready to begin the trials? You keep asking me that. I am reasonably happy with my evidence and reasoning. Let's do the thing. Let's expose these truths.
Loved eyes.
Are you sure? Yeah. Why do you keep asking me this? The penalty for anyone you convict of any crime will be death, as dictated by Syndicate law. I guess that makes sense. We don't really have any other punishments available, right? I suppose we could kick them out back to the real world, which at the very least the Daybreaks seem to be convinced is a thing that can happen. You could just leave and go back to reality. But apparently this is what we're doing. Okay, cross the point of no return into the abyss of crime.
Breathe life back into paradise.
I'm overjoyed to hear that. Please wait while I assemble the suspects in the Chamber of Justice. Paradise is kind of... It says it hangs in the balance here, but I think we're past that point, honestly. Let me explain how we shall uncover truths and lies. We will hold a trial for each case file logged in Starlight.
Show me your truth.
You will choose which suspect you wish to accuse and present your argument against them. Suspect singular? I am an impartial tool of justice. I shall analyze your evidence and determine if you have proven your case. Okay, so we're not actually presenting a case at all. Can you break alibis? Can you put the suspect at the scene? How strong is your case? All that matters is that justice is carried out. I am not interested in speculation and weak prosecutions. I need the truth. We will find the suspect responsible for each crime.
The door to truth will open.
Anyone found guilty will be executed. This is the crime to end all crimes. Well, no, only one of the files is about the crime to end all crimes. Because you can see they have... Okay, whatever. Anyone involved cannot be allowed to infect Perfect 25 with their criminality. You will do the execute... Oh, okay. The investigation freak will execute justice. Be confident about who you accuse. Are you clear? Yeah, there is so much yammering going on. Okay, that's very normal. Judge? The island is ending. Our home shatters before us.
What you want.
This farce has gone on for long enough. It is time to move to the new island, Judge. I am the acting leader. I initiated the shutdown. Of course she did. The prime suspect has been sitting behind bars while the freak runs around the island chasing down false leads.
Dare you?
You have until the end of the island to do your trial. The truth may not be as simple as you believe, Architect. Oh, I think she knows exactly how simple the truth is, actually. I'm doing this for the good of the Syndicate. Perfect 25 is waiting.
I have a bad feeling about this.
Again, there's just a lot of talking going on here. This is like a huge number of lines of dialogue for, like, not a lot of information. Alright, you will have one desperate chance to find the truth for each case file, make it count.
I'm shocked. Stop.
When love dies.
For real, like, stop repeating the same things over and over again. Use it at the end of the trials to execute the guilty. Any involvement with this heinous crime carries a sentence of death. And we're gonna keep talking about whether we're talking about it or not. This is the did you know this is the crime to end all crimes? I think I may have heard that somewhere before, and it might have been right here, and it might have been several times. Any amount of involvement is a heresy against the gods and an atrocity against the syndicate. Or do you disagree? Yes, let's ask some questions. Be strong in your accusations, investigator. The penalty for any of these crimes is death. Once again, I think I've heard that somewhere before.
The journey into truth and justice begins.
All of the writing in this game sort of suffers from this same problem, where it's just like they aren't confident enough in the idea of expressing a thing, and they have to make sure they've said it 10 times. It's very annoying. So, what are we supposed to... Okay, speak to the suspects and collect your gun. I do want to collect my gun. Okay, that's a pretty good gun. Do we need text for, okay, you picked up the gun now? So I'm supposed to talk to everybody. This is like a real problem, though. Some of these people I don't really want to kill, and to be frank with you, I don't know that I think that the death of the syndicate or the death of the council is a crime worth killing people over. I think we might be better off. I guess that's a thing we're gonna have to work out in a second here. I hope you know what you're doing, lady. You better have the evidence you need for whatever you're planning. I will say also, the way that Judge has repeatedly described this process doesn't really make any sense given the information we have. Like, if we're to nominate a single suspect for each case file, that's not going to work, right? Because, like, there's one case file for the breaching of the first lock, but the first lock was breached twice. So I guess we're just going to pick which conspiracy we want to convict? This is a formality, right? I'm lined up to get my head blown off, aren't I? Well, that's what we're here to find out. That's an incredibly cruel thing for her to say in the moment, since she knows that's not true. She's just going to let him suffer. Loved eyes, if you prosecute me, will I get conjugal visits? Sorry, Doc, the punishment for this crime is going to make that difficult. It's not really my fetish. Y'all, how you doing? Hey, LD, we're cool, right? We're in the clear, aren't we? Well, why is she just walking around and lying to people about... Maybe I didn't need to come around here and talk to everyone.
The end times are looming.
This is, in fact, the reckoning. Okay, we're good, I get it. We're just gonna say to everybody, I don't know what's gonna happen, even though I totally do know what's gonna happen. Because Lady Love Dies kind of sucks as a person. Okay, Henry's escape. Henry allegedly escaped during his execution, broke through the prison bars, and headed to the council building, murdering the marshal guards, traversing the holy seals, and killing the council, before being apprehended at the scene. How did Henry escape? How did the accused killer break out of incarceration? Is it as the report states, or did something else happen? Henry Division is alleged to have escaped the desolation cell and murdered the council. Investigator, peel back the shroud of inscrutability and bring forward the sweet smile of truth. So I have to pick a person who is responsible for this. Well, I guess it's Akiko way more than anybody else. Although, I guess we sort of have to make a decision here about whether we're going to punish each person that had a hand in this, or whether we're just going to say, it's all Carmelina. Carmelina's responsible for all of it. She planned every little bit of it, and she was kind of the only person who knew the whole depth of the thing, right? Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we're at this point really reshaping the the council and the syndicate for the next island. Out of curiosity, am I allowed to pin stuff on the dead guy? Yes. Okay. And for some reason, the selection doesn't loop. You have to go all the way back. Yo, wait a second. Sam's got eyeballs? What? So it just shows me all of the evidence that is relevant to the thing. Okay. So, this is... Why is the discarded bottle linked to Akiko? There's no fingerprints on it. We have no idea where the bottle came from. Right? Nor do we know how it would have been, like... Did we ever figure out a reason that there would be a bottle that had some of every council member's blood in it? Like, how somebody would do that? I don't know. I mean, this is Akiko's fault, and also Akiko should definitely be punished. I'm gonna go ahead and lay that on her. Are you sure you want to continue with this accusation and present your evidence? Once you confirm, you will not be able to reverse the court proceedings. Yeah, I'm comfortable laying this on Akiko. It is her fault. She is the one who did this.
Or a truth?
Well, I believe this was part of a plan by Akiko.
That's a lie, Nenorochito. Nenorochito, you're out of
The
your
freak
mind.
is lying, and then she's mad at me, and she's probably swearing at me, I assume. The Grand Marshal broke the primary suspect out of the prison she put him in.
Show me your truth.
Present your evidence. Construct a truth. Well, I got lots and lots and lots of evidence. Let's go for... I can break Akiko's alibi. The truth requires us to examine Akiko's alibi. What a strangely constructed conversation. Akiko went to execute Henry, but alleges that Henry escaped at 23:52. She claims she found him outside the council building at 3 minutes after midnight. I called witness as I left the desolation cell to go to the barracks to organize the search for Henry. Can anyone confirm that the Grand Marshal returned to the barracks? Well, the marshals confirmed that she went back to the barracks.
Got it.
However, it is hard to take their word as they are fiercely loyal to you and refuse to give me any physical evidence. Did you confirm the phone call? Akiko's phone records are apparently classified, and the investigator isn't allowed to access them. The witness confirmed he got a call from Akiko.
Is this a fact?
I took witness's phone and analyzed the records at a comms tower. Starlight did some backtracing on the calls, and it appears Akiko lied. The call she made to witness wasn't from the desolation cell. The comms tower puts her location at Syndicate HQ, which throws her timeline of events into question and puts her near the scene of the crime. And yep, she's mad about that. I get it. I would be too. Watch your language. We all assume you're saying something really bad, although none of us are sure. She's lying. Her little pocket calculator is wrong. She hasn't checked my phone. The data's incorrect.
Fine. Cannot hide.
Witness testified that on the call from Akiko, he couldn't hear the desolation cell's distinctive, dreadful atmosphere, or the ocean. Now, granted, Witness is a huge liar. The thing I just said is the evidence part. We don't need to bring this up.
I have a bad feeling.
That
about
isn't
this.
conclusive proof, but it still suggests she wasn't where she claims. The rock of secrecy has been lifted and the truth exposed. The Grand Marshal's alibi has been broken. Present your evidence. Constructed truth. This whole court proceeding is playing out a little bit more like a game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Than I'm comfortable with. Also, like everything else, man. How about the bars? The bars on the prison bridge were supposedly torn open by Henry, but I mean, like, no, thermite.
Don't test me.
Thermite is a military-grade explosive that burns through pretty much anything. Okay, well, alright. Akiko faked that part of his escape. Grand
Do
Marshal,
you want to die?
never trust computers. Her little calculator got it wrong. Henry is demonic. What does Starlight know about demons? The freak tried to analyze something that Starlight doesn't recognize, and the closest match is thermite. Now, I'm like pretty sure, says the computer. Thermite is an anti-material weapon and burns at an extremely high temperature.
Love dies.
Akiko used it to open the prison bars and make it look like Henry escaped. A good truth. Please, please, just another crumb of truth. Alright, I mean, I got a lot of stuff here, obviously. Akiko broke procedure when she went to execute Henry. She shouldn't have gone by herself. She was either doing something illicit or giving him an opportunity. Again, a weird way to phrase this, given that we know which one of those is true. Lady Love Dies is doing her absolute best to, like, leave a little kernel of doubt. Ha! Is that the best you've got? I thought you were supposed to be the investigation freak. Speculating with nothing to back it up seems like a poor showing for Judge's big hope. She's right. That is speculation and not evidence. Okay, so, like, here, there actually are wrong answers. So I appreciate that there are finally some mechanics in the conversation. Okay, the time frame is pretty proofy. This is proof-shaped. The time frame in Akiko's report doesn't match up. There's no way Henry could have got off the desolation cell, made it to the council building, traversed the Holy Seals, murdered the council, and then be back by 3 minutes after midnight. Akiko lied. And then she's just gonna be like, you don't know anything about how demons time travel? She's making that up. The freak is making me out to be a liar. She's cooked up a little story to frame me. And then how did Henry cross the island and do all the things? He's got a demon in him. The demon gave him speed and strength. And there's no evidence to suggest that. That's correct, Grand Marshal. Your word here isn't good enough. You are speculating without any evidence to back it up, and you know how Judge feels about that. Alright, what else? The inhibitors I'm not so interested in. Well, I mean, like, I guess this will be useful to say because I'm kind of curious if people can present counter evidence. Because if I say this, somebody could bring up the Scream thing, especially since I told everybody about its existence. So let's see what happens here. Henry was dosed up with inhibitors. How could he have escaped if he was fully sedated? Doctor, was his dosage correct?
Investigator.
Yes, Judge, as it has been for the last 10 years. Do you have anything to say, Grand Marshal?
Back off.
The demon inside him tricked us. It waited for the right moment. The inhibitors had never been right, but we didn't know. Doctor? That's quite the claim. It would mean that the demon was capable of plotting and fooling us for a decade. Now, there's no medical evidence to suggest this happened.
The facts and the truth are not.
Very convenient. The demon pulled the trick off right at the end of the island. Why not attack sooner? Actually, no, that's not a good... There's some very obvious reasons, like this is when he was being let out of the cell. This isn't hard evidence, but I am taking it into consideration.
Show me your truth.
Okay, so we don't always need hard evidence. I guess I should just present everything then? Also, I can break Henry's alibi, which is a weird way of phrasing this. Henry stands accused by everyone except you. Do the facts lie? Do you believe in the official version of events? No. The truth is distorted, and then everyone in the courtroom gasps.
Paradise feels wrong.
The facts are wrong. Henry didn't go to the council building by himself. Henry's
I
pumped.
don't like this.
He remembers almost nothing about last night except seeing New Night. He specifically remembers seeing the goddess. She didn't speak to him, he saw the goddess. The only statue of New Night is in the barracks, and a normal citizen can't know that because the barracks are classified. Henry has been in the barracks, though. That's where detainees are processed when they're arrested. Hey, Judge, please don't present counter evidence against me. Now, the statue's in the main barracks grounds. Prisoners don't go through there, correct, Akiko? When I was arrested on Island 13, I only ever saw the entrance to the barracks, which connects directly to the underground holding cells. I'm not answering that. It's classified. Grand Marshal, you'll be found in contempt if you refuse to answer. Fine. Arrested individuals are taken through the main gate and directly down into the holding cells. So Henry could only have seen New Night if he went through the tunnel that connects the Desolation Cell to the barracks. When he was arrested and taken to the Desolation Cell, he'd have had to go through the main barracks grounds, though. That was 10 years ago, but, you know, he has lost all his memories from that and everything. This sounds like a stretch, investigator. Look, the only way to get to the council building from the Desolation Cell in the window of time stated is via the front gate of the HQ. This lines up, stop being weird about it. The Nightmare computer logs on the HQ entrance have no record of Henry going through them. I don't believe he went through them. If he didn't go through the entrance, this whole case is thrown into disarray. And Henry was found with the blood of the victims in his stomach, but also I don't think he's responsible for that. Well, how else did the blood get inside him? I found this bottle on the rocks below where he was found. It had been used to hold blood. Starlight analyzed the blood in it and matched the remains to all of the council members. And how did it get there? Well, there are no fingerprints, but my theory is that someone took council blood from the scene, placed it in the bottle, and then forced Henry to ingest it. Oh, right, yeah, duh. How would they do it? They would, spill all the blood and then put the blood in the bottles. It's not like that needed to be prepped ahead of time. Why? To scapegoat him for the crime. They were rushed or sloppy and casually discarded the bottle, assuming no one would question the lie. You can't prove this, though. The demonic sigils that cover Henry's body were found daubed in blood at the scene of the first seal marshals. And what of them? Henry doesn't draw those symbols. There are no records of this occurring, and it's not in line with how the demon inside him behaves. The sigils formed on his skin through the projection of demonic language from the demon inside him. The demon scorched him with its own anger. Did the demon make him draw them? No, the demon doesn't micromanage Henry's actions, it just, sets him on a path. Henry doesn't speak the demon's language either. I find it very unlikely that Henry would perfectly recreate sigils from a language he doesn't speak. Well, how did they get there, then? Most likely drawn by whoever was trying to frame him. Couldn't he have copied them from his own body? Only if he had a mirror and the time to do it, or, you know, the ability to look at his own body. Please stop poking holes in my bad case. Very well. Excellent work. You have taken the lid off the box containing the truth. Henry's alibi is broken. I do think it kind of sucks, though, that they use the word alibi to mean the opposite of what alibi means in the case of Henry. And then, yeah, I'm good. Nothing to present. You have proven that the official version of events for Akiko and Henry's movements last night are total fantasy. Combined with your evidence, you have created a truth that glints brilliantly in the light shown by the facts. There's a lot of different metaphors, and they don't really mesh very well together. I have considered your truth, ruminated on the implications, soaked in the facts, steeped the leaves of veracity, examined the grains of legitimacy. I have no idea when they had time to do all this. There is no jury here. I must leave it to the impartial sword of justice within me to stab through the heart of the lies and let the blood of truth flow. Is that what's happening right now? Also, I love the fact that the judge is like, oh yeah, I'm 1000% impartial, whatever I say goes. A truth is revealed, a truth is known, a truth proves Akiko guilty. Well, I just got her murdered, so, you know, I'm in mixed emotions about this. Do you have anything to say, Grand Marshal? The harsh light of truth is shone upon your crime, and you will be sentenced to death. You were sworn to protect our beloved council. You pledged your blade for so long. You were a beacon of purity. Now you will be executed, and the marshals will lose their leader. The island sequences will never be the same again. Why did you do it? You said I wouldn't hang for this. I beg your pardon, Grand Marshal? This was never part of the plan. Is she talking to Judge? Is there another layer of something going on here? Who are you talking to? Okay, Carmelina, you said this would work. Now I have a gun to my head. If I'm going down for this, so are you. I have no idea what she's talking about. Tell us everything, Akiko. You have nothing left to lose. If you were set up, you can have revenge. I mean, I'm definitely still going to shoot you in the face. You promised to induct my soldiers into the Syndicate if I helped you. Now I'm going to be executed. Okay, well that's valuable information. This is the part of the game where people start breaking and explaining things. You used me. You weren't careful enough, and now I'm going to die. I faked Henry's escape. I was supposed to deliver him to outside the council building, phone witness, and report that I'd found him after the council were dead. Carmelina? She's lying. She's been found out in her own little scheme, and now she's trying to take innocent people down with her. I took Henry through the barracks to the council building. The official report is a lie. I don't know why it needs to keep popping things up for us. Like, we're never going to use the Starlight interface again, right? Isn't the game over? Lady Love dies? That sounds like a conspiracy, Judge. One of several. Open a case file. Okay, so this is the thing we want to get Carmelina on, then. Okay, they really love splash screens in this part of the game. Lady Love dies. While you're in here, you do not have access to the phones you have been using to record your progress. Would you like me to save your progress now? That doesn't seem necessary. Very well, we will continue. This is apparently going to take a lot longer. Looking at the amount of time that's passed already, this is going to take a lot longer than I was expecting. Alright, Henry's demonic possession. A decade ago, he became possessed by a demon, killing his mother and allowing demonic corruption to spill out into the world. The area around his apartment was sealed off and became the dead zone, and during his arrest, he killed the Syndicate's exorcist, Grace Bloodlines. For the last 10 years, he has been contained and sedated, and it's not very fair, is it? Investigator, Starlight has logged Henry's possession a decade ago as a case file related to the murder of the Council. Is Starlight being overzealous, or do you believe there is something there that warrants investigation? Was someone else involved with Henry's possession and then a demonic invasion that spelled doom for the island? Yeah, like a couple of people. If we're only allowed to throw this at one person, I think this one is probably... Huh. Oh, okay, because this is just him getting possessed. This isn't the murder of Grace Bloodlines. That's a separate case file. Well, this one is all about Yuri, then. And I have no moral qualms about convicting Yuri. When it comes time to lay stuff on Lydia and Sam, I don't know. We're going to have to think about it a little bit. Yes, I believe Yuri pushed Henry down the path to possession. I thought you were supposed to be an investigation freak. You've got nothing on me.
Show me your truth.
Alright, well actually I've got like a lot of stuff on you, so how about this?
And the truth.
Yuri accessed the vault that contains the books on demonology. I believe Yuri took books on demonology and gave them to Henry, preying on a vulnerable mind and pushing him toward communicating with the gods. The plan was for him to become possessed. The plan?
Don't make me laugh.
The freak wouldn't know a plan if she saw it, on account of it being an abstract thing that has no physical form. She's just making up stories and you're going along with it.
Don't make me laugh.
Exile caused her brain to rot. You're letting the freak fool you with lies, speculation, and fiction. I just want to make clear to everybody, this is some good life advice from me to you. Don't accuse the judge of stuff in your trial, especially before the judge has actually made any kind of determinations. Literally, all judge has said so far is the plan, and Yuri's already like, this is a witch hunt.
I don't like this.
Oh, the plan will become clear in later case files. There is a conspiracy at play, and I kind of need you to trust me. Just, like, follow along on this, please. If I get this wrong, you can reverse the conviction. I'll go back to the Idle Lands, and Yuri can walk free. Someone committed the crime to end all crimes, and the path to the truth is a winding
This is
one.
nonsense.
We cannot go on trust. This is not justice. Do not dare to lecture me on justice. I am justice incarnate. That's why I have 4 mouths, obviously. The court trusts the investigator.
Show me your truth.
Alright, let's talk about this book.
Don't test me.
Inside a safe in Henry's apartment is one of the forbidden tomes of demonology from the library vault.
What do you mean?
What's that got to do with me? Which book? The Grimoire of Majida, probably, is how that's pronounced. A frightful tome. How did a citizen come to obtain one of the restricted texts?
Show me your truth.
I just told you that. And Henry told me a stranger supplied him with the tome that would lead to his possession. This is a little flimsy. Like, this is what happened, but it's not awesome as far as proof goes. Someone took a shine to him and slipped him a restricted text. And you think it was me? You're a joke. I had nothing to do with
Don't be
this.
snide with me.
I don't consort with citizens. You'll need better evidence than this. Well, that's not great, because I don't have better evidence than this. I mean, the fact that Yuri's the one who took the book from the library is pretty solid as far as him being, like, somewhat involved, but we don't actually have any evidence that says he's the one who gave it to, Henry. I mean, obviously we have a lot of evidence that he's involved later, like Denonigate's testimony and stuff, but... yep, okay. Same text. A truth is revealed.
Yuri.
Okay.
Guilty.
The game feels that that was conclusive, even though it kind of wasn't. This is unacceptable. Do you know who I am? I have been chosen. I will be on the next council. This freak has taken away my destiny. I will burn the syndicate to the ground. Another thing not to do if you're ever in court.
I am the leader.
Yuri, be quiet. No, I'm the blessed servant of my goddess. I was destined for greatness. I helped you and now I'm going to die.
Is its own reward.
These are the ravings of someone deceived by a god that's been caught out. Is this true,
What are
Yuri?
you talking about?
She promised me a seat on the new council and to retrieve enchanted blue from the real world. It is weird that they still call it the real world, because, like, they've been here for millennia at this point, right? Like, over the course of all the islands. Shouldn't this be the real world to them? Nonsense.
Make me laugh.
I got Henry the books on demonology, sent him down the dark path. The plan needed the island to end, and Henry provided the answer. The truth lies within a conspiracy. I'm really glad he confessed, because I honestly thought that was pretty shaky. Lady Love... Yeah, phones. We're still in don't save territory here. It looks like the trial may end up being longer than a single episode, so we'll probably use that at some point. Okay, this is the part. Grace was our chief exorcist. One Last Kiss seems to think she was set up to die, and then I think she was actually, hard murdered with someone's bare hands. Grace Bloodlines was murdered 10 years ago. I presided over the trial. I saw the sun's light cast the shadows from the terror and leave only truth visible. Yeah, but you didn't have me on the island 10 years ago. Do those terrible events from a decade ago have a link to the tragedy of last night? I investigated it at the behest of One Last Kiss, who's a ghost that I hope everybody believes I didn't just make up. Who is One Last Kiss?
I have a bad feeling about this.
The ghost of Grace Bloodlines. She's on the island. A ghost of a murder victim 10 years ago is on the island. Is that so hard to believe, Judge? God, I'm glad you showed up. Can you prove you are who you say you are? Okay, she's got a password. Right, she's got that blood password. Confirmation. Grace Bloodline's unique blood code. One Last Kiss asked me to find her resting spot. I unlocked her blood vial and she confirmed the code independently. It's so nice to see everyone again. What do you have to do with the murder last night?
Do you understand, investigator?
I was murdered 10 years ago, allegedly by Henry, who everyone here would have you believe is the council murderer. It makes you think, doesn't it? What if the two are linked? No, that doesn't... that wasn't even tenuous, that was just nothing. Listen, One Last Kiss asked me to investigate her murder because she believes there's more to it than the official version of events. Do you suspect her? No, I do not. That doesn't make any sense at all. I believe she's a victim in all this, on account of she was murdered. You remember the part where she was murdered? Well done, investigator. You have seen the truth clearly. Paradise gets even more bizarre. The trials continue. I sort of wonder if I should be playing Judge more as like a motorway announcer. Lady Love dies. Drive us along the highway of truth. Because, I'm trying to do, the inflection that we hear on Judge's lines, but I don't think the text matches that very well. Alright, obviously this was Carmelina. Yeah, the hidden photo is the most important thing. This is... I mean, it's not like hard proof, though. You can kind of see it there. Especially since, in theory, Sam and Lydia probably, right, if you look at Sam and Lydia, it doesn't include that. Because they probably have rings, right? Did we ever verify that they don't have wedding rings? I guess we can't see wedding rings, but... whatever, the evidence is here. We got this. This is a much more solid case than the Yuri thing was, and that worked out just fine. Although, I do not expect Carmelina to break down and confess. I believe Carmelina was the architect of her murder. And then a gasp and then applause. This is nonsense. You have no evidence.
Show me your truth.
Oh yeah? Well, what about this? I found a photo of Grace's body that had been excluded from the report. It was hidden on the barracks server. It showed the strangle marks on Grace's neck. Doomjazz took a look at it and suggested that they were done by someone that wore a wedding ring.
Crime cannot hide.
Carmelina wore a wedding ring at the time when Grace was killed. I suspect that Carmelina killed Grace when Henry didn't step up and do it for her.
Perfection.
This is tenuous, isn't it? Anything could have caused that mark, couldn't it? All of a sudden we're all Sam over here. Doctor? Well, it is my firm opinion this was done by a ring worn on the wedding ring finger. Bruising can contain very detailed information.
This is nonsense.
He's flexing his abs so hard right now. This is not the time. Preposterous. The doctor would say anything to a pretty face. And Judge is like 3, maybe 3.5 pretty faces. It's a very powerful effect.
Do your job.
Alright. Why would Architect Carmelina have killed Grace?
Like this.
Yuri gave Henry demonology books. Henry was being set up to end the island, and possibly be scapegoated for the murder of the council.
Investigator is here.
A dead exorcist means the demon in Henry would still be around and useful when it came time to pin the blame on someone for last night. When Henry didn't kill Grace Bloodlines, Akiko stepped in and framed him, giving him a history of murder. This sounds like a conspiracy, investigator. I believe so, and we already opened a case about a conspiracy, so we're all on the same page. Absolutely not. This is a farce. Hold your tongue in the halls of justice.
Tell me your truth.
Alright, when Henry was arrested, Grace was meeting with Carmelina. Carmelina requested to accompany Grace on the exorcism. I hope we're all cool with ghost testimony. Again, I'm really glad One Last Kiss showed up here so that it doesn't sound like I'm just making this all up. This is unusual, as it would place Carmelina in an unnecessary amount of danger. It may be unusual, but it doesn't prove she is the perpetrator.
That is its own reward.
Of course it doesn't. The investigator is trying to prove a fantasy. It may have placed me in danger, but the pursuit of knowledge sometimes requires risk.
Show me your truth.
While Grace and Carmelina were en route to Henry, Carmelina sent a message to Akiko. She instructed her to leave Henry and Grace alone together. This message was intercepted before it was scrubbed from the server. Carmelina forgot to use encryption.
We
Architect?
achieved perfection.
I have no recollection of this. It sounds like a fabrication.
Show me your truth.
Okay, well, I think that's pretty solid. A veritable treasure trove of facts, no less. Alright, yep, grains, ruminations, etc.
The court finds Carmelina
Okay.
guilty.
Grace Bloodlines was murdered by the hands of the architect. Probably. You know, good enough for me. Whatever. Again, the standard of proof on this island is a little shaky.
You have no evidence.
What? How dare
What
you?
you want?
This is nonsense. This trial is over.
Dare you?
Henry will be executed and the freak will be sent back to the Idlelands. This is my courtroom. I am justice incarnate. You do not have the authority to end the trials. You have been found guilty. You will receive your punishment. The trials continue. So, like, all that stuff about the end of the island, maybe placing a time limit on the trials, is just like chatter, right? It's not a real mechanic. No, we're good. Let's keep going. Who killed the Holy Seal Marshals? Well, the answer is kind of nobody, so that's a tricky one to answer. Last night, the taloned hand of death reached out for the first Holy Seal guards. They were butchered at their post. Who snatched the life from them? Was it the accused, or is there another truth skulking on the periphery of our knowledge? They were elite marshals and gave their lives guarding our beloved council. How were they killed, and why? So... I wish that these were a little bit more explicit. Like, what is going to be the outcome of these? Because somebody was killed last night, and I definitely want to make sure that Akiko gets recorded for the murder of those two prisoners. But also, there is this other thing. The breach several days ago... Hold on. Which conspiracy is which? Akiko's part of the conspiracy... No, the breach several days ago did not have to do with these marshals, because the way the breach several days ago navigated the first seal was just by going around it, right? Lydia dropping off the box on the roof.
Crime is repulsive.
Well, I will show you the truth. Investigator, please review your case file and confirm who you wish to accuse. So this is just 100% Akiko, this part.
The facts and the truth are not the
The
same.
Grand Marshal holds the answers. You're out of your mind. You dare accuse me of murdering my own
Show me
marshals?
your truth.
Well, not exactly. See, here's the thing. I can present Akiko's previous conviction as evidence? How about this? Akiko's alibi has been broken. Do you have anything
Show me
else?
your truth.
Okay. Well, how about the mismatching blood? They're not even your marshals. How about that one? An unexpected glint of truth in the riverbed of mystery.
Don't test me.
The dead bodies at the first seal aren't marshals. That's a lie. And where are the real marshals? That's actually a great question.
Got it.
My suspicion is somewhere in the barracks. There's a lot of places in there I'm not allowed to go, so... Do you have anything to say, Grand Marshal? Yeah, a lot of stuff, in fact, none of which I can pronounce.
Don't test me.
A blood sample from the dead guards doesn't match any records for the marshals. She's lying. Her little PDA got it wrong. Did Starlight get it wrong? Is this really the truth? You know, there is still the possibility that Starlight screwed up, and if that is the case, a lot of our understanding of the whole situation is pretty screwed up. But we never, had the opportunity to discover any evidence that that was what was happening, so
Love dies. All that
let's hope not.
are the facts.
This is the truth, Judge. The blood doesn't match. Those bodies are not marshals. Did you run a DNA test on the
I
bodies?
have a bad feeling about
No.
this.
Dr. Doomjazz told me that the server containing the necessary DNA files had been corrupted. Is this true?
Worried.
Yes, Judge. My system's automated backup failed. I checked the one on the moon, and that had corrupted as well. I kind of forgot about this. This sort of could be Doomjazz. But, it doesn't have to be, right? This could be Doomjazz, but there's no evidence to suggest that it is him actually screwing with things. Can we recover the data? Well, the only people that can are on the next island, and we're in lockdown. Do you suspect foul play? Well, there's no way to tell. Troubling. Carry on, investigator. I wonder if we missed something here.
Paradise feels wrong.
So, Akiko refused to let Doomjazz examine the bodies. Why? She didn't want to dishonor their sacrifice. This is a break in procedure. They gave their lives in service. Their bodies should not be desecrated by an examination.
Crime is repulsive.
I believe she was trying to hide that the blood didn't match. Why? What do you mean, why?
Is this a fact?
Akiko is in a relationship with Captain Voth, who was stationed at the First Seal last night. Don't you dare say his name! Do not dishonor him with your lies! How do you know this, Loved Eyes? Oh, Crimson testified to it. Yeah, I get it. that is shaky. I can't divulge my sources, but it's true.
Love dies. All that
Relationships
matters are
between the
facts.
Grand Marshal and her troops are expressly forbidden, and Dr. Doomjazz testified that the Council had found out about her relationships with her troops in the past. You really can't keep anything to yourself if you see a bit of leg, can you?
Got this wrong.
I'm sorry, Akiko. I never thought you were involved in any of this. I'm duty-bound to aid an investigation. Did it work? Did you get laid? Enough. Do not tank the sanctity of this church of truth.
Got it.
It's not like a church, you know what I'm saying. Aiz Kiwami told him that the council were going to strip her of her authority on the next island. If Akiko knew this, it would give her motive to kill the council. Soldiers are sworn to give their lives in service. As their commander, I didn't take the honor of a glorious death from them. Oh yeah? Then why did you switch the bodies? Got her. The bodies weren't switched. You made that up. Can you prove the bodies weren't switched? There are records in the barracks.
Crime cannot hide.
Judge, the barracks have become Akiko's own private fiefdom. The marshals are not loyal to the Syndicate or the gods. They're loyal to her.
Love dies.
Any proof she can magic up from the barracks can't be trusted. I agree with you, investigator.
Crime cannot hide.
Akiko didn't want her troops to die, she knew about the murder, and she switched them. Can you prove
Is this
that?
a fact or a truth?
What do you mean by prove? Well, Akiko removed 2 prisoners from the barracks prison. Do you have proof they are the murdered
Bad
guards?
feeling about this.
No, but they are unaccounted for. They were never logged back into the prison after being removed. Can't even make up a convincing story for her lie.
Test me.
The maintenance shed near the council building shows signs of habitation. That's a pleasant way to put that. There are drag marks and human waste inside.
Paradise
Like a
feels
lot of it,
wrong.
too. Akiko stored them in there and switched them out when the time came. Do you have anything
Show me
else?
your truth.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't
I have some stuff. The guards were killed with a damaged blade. That's pretty thin. A damaged blade. The lacerations on their throat were ragged. This indicates a blade with nicks or damage would have caused them. Akiko's sword is battle damaged and could have caused the messy lacerations on the victims. Akiko staged the guard murder and scapegoated Henry. This fits with her plan of faking Henry's escape. What's the grand plan, Loved
I
Eyes?
have a bad feeling about this.
Oh, we've got more case files. There's a lot. Listen, there's a lot of stuff in this computer. And what about the blade Henry was found with? Henry's blade was a new perfect blade. It doesn't have a serrated edge. It couldn't have made the ragged cuts.
Crime is repulsive.
Akiko staged the guard murder and scapegoated Henry. Again, in case you didn't hear me the first time.
Like this.
She made a mistake or got too cocky and didn't use the right blade to kill the guards. Do you have anything
Show
else?
me your truth.
Yeah, how about this?
Truth are not
The
the same.
Akiko staged the guard murder and scapegoated Henry. I don't know if you heard that. She has a previous conviction. Why else would she have aided his escape?
Show me your truth.
That's, yeah. Bringing up the fact that she was convicted of another thing is kind of... That doesn't seem directly relevant, necessarily. Alright, we examined some grains, we ate some leaves or whatever. A truth is revealed. The truth in this case file sparkles brilliantly, in fact.
Crime cannot.
The hut.
I was ordered to kill my troops, but I would never do that. Bonds born on the battlefield cannot be broken. Again, the marshals are citizens, so they're from this island. There weren't like a lot of battlefields. She just likes them a lot,
This
that's
is
all.
nonsense.
That's a lie.
Pardon?
She's lying. I switched the guards out for prisoners and killed the fakes. Why didn't you admit to it when you told us about the rest of your
I'll
involvement?
kill you.
Are you
I'm a
stupid?
soldier.
Before all of this, I was a soldier. I will be a soldier until I die. Soldiers always see their mission through. I was not going to have my name further tarnished if you hadn't got the evidence. I will be executed regardless. Soldiers must maintain their dignity no matter what. You are doing a terrible job of that. Well, the truth becomes clearer. Yeah, she's kind of like having tantrums every couple of minutes here. I don't know what she thinks the word dignity means. Not that I necessarily think it's unreasonable, given that, you know, we're definitely killing her here. Alright, KHX is missing. He is the Syndicate's master craftsman and designer of the second Holy Seal. Hasn't been seen for a number of days. I mean, we really only have one piece of evidence here that's relevant, but it does seem pretty relevant. KHX disappeared a number of days ago. Strange for a Syndicate member, but suspicious because he crafted the second Holy Seal. Did someone try to obtain the secret from him? Investigator, do you know what happened to
I have a bad
KHX?
feeling about this.
Well, yeah, he's dead. He's lying on the rocks on the coast of the island. Dead? Very theatrical. The fangs of death grip this island so tightly. How could this happen? Investigator, please review your case file and confirm who you wish to accuse. Okay, this is an easy one. It does feel like we're laying a lot of stuff on Yuri. just Yuri and Akiko here.
Crime is repulsive.
I think one thing that's interesting is that, like, this case file is a great example. There was a lot of evidence that suggests... we don't have hard proof of almost anything, right? We just have a lot of suggestion. And there's a lot of evidence that suggests that acid could have been responsible. And I wonder, like... Nope, knocking stuff off my desk, sorry about that. I wonder if there's... Like, you could choose to reshape the truth pretty significantly here and get people executed and leave people alive. And I wonder exactly how the ending is going to work. If it's like, if there's a good reason to intentionally let people off the hook and convict the wrong people for things. I'm very curious how this is all going to wrap up. Want to save me some trouble here and cooperate, Yuri? I'm not going down without a fight, freak. You need to prove it.
Show me your truth.
Alright, I'll do it. KHX's dead body was clutching Yuri's ring. How about that? How do you know it belongs to Yuri?
Trust me.
Lydia confirmed it. Yuri had apparently lost it. In this case, he lost it in the hand of a murder victim, which is a bad place to lose things. KHX had it in a death grip. I believe he pulled it off in the struggle when he knew he was going to die. He held onto it in death to give us a clue. Someone is trying to frame me. They stole my ring and planted it at the scene. Is there any evidence that the ring had been planted? I don't know what that means. What kind of evidence would there be? The fist was gripping it tightly. If it had been planted, it would have had to have been done before rigor mortis set in.
I will be on the next council.
You people are out of your minds. This wasn't
Show me
me.
your truth.
I mean, we know, dude, we already know you were involved. There are drag marks leading away from KHX's workshop. I believe Yuri killed him to get the key to the second seal and then tried to hide the body. Those could have come from anywhere. This is a farce.
Show me your truth.
Also, there's the boat ride thing. Yuri shut down the boat rides around the island on the same day that KHX went missing.
Don't test me.
Yuri picked a bad place to dump the body and needed to make sure it wouldn't be found, although he also could have just gone over there and, like, moved it slightly behind a rock. It wouldn't have been a problem at all.
Free.
Shutting down the boats is one of my duties. There's nothing out of the ordinary.
Time is repulsive.
So why do it early? Who cares about the boats? They're only there for citizens to try and block out the mundanity of their existence for a few minutes. I shut them down early. So what? I was just getting work
Show
done.
me your truth.
Boy, mundanity is not a word I would use to describe the lives that the citizens here have to lead. Alright, the truth shines like the moon on a cloudless night. Was this part of your orders as well, Yuri?
I've been chosen.
Fine, I got the key for the second seal from her. KHX was an unfortunate casualty.
Is its own reward.
This is the ravings of someone deceived by a god that's been caught out, I say again. We'll get to you later. And you got it by force?
Insufferable.
It wasn't supposed to be like that. I offered him a council seat and hoped he'd turn. We fought, and I smashed him with a tool he had laying around. And how did you get the key from him?
Business is it of yours?
His laptop was unlocked. It wasn't hard to find. I copied the file, dumped his body, and left.
Dare you?
You know, that seems like it wouldn't necessarily have needed a murder. That's just Yuri's being very sloppy here. Alright, I've considered your truth. I ate some grains or whatever. I had a little bit of oatmeal, and it turns out Yuri's guilty. The simmering oatmeal of guilt is upon him. Alright, let's do one more. We can do one more. I have no idea how many case files we had. I'm not sure how far we are into the thing. Alright, the council constructed a doorway to a plateau in space, which is like a pretty good security measure if I do say so myself. What is the second Holy Seal, and how was it breached? Take us for a holiday to the land of truth. Let us sip cocktails of facts on the beach of justice. Judge is my favorite
I
character.
don't like this.
With the help of KHX, the Council constructed a puzzle-based monument system on a plateau on a desolate planet outside of our solar system. The door in the Council building acts as a portal to this antique part of space. Hey, she says our solar system. Are we in, like, the Sol solar system? Are we in the real-world solar system? The obelisks on the beach provide the solution to the puzzle and are activated using KHX's key. Or Starlight. Well, the key carries a protocol which handshakes with the obelisk nightmare computer. Starlight can crack it. Investigator, please please do the thing that you've been doing. You know, just keep doing that thing. So, here's a problem. 2 people got through the second Holy Seal. Right, this is where things get a little tricky. Because we can only accuse one person here, but two breaches happened. Is this the part where we're letting Lydia off the hook? I think it is. I think that's what we're doing. Yeah, I'm gonna hang this on Yuri. I wonder if we're gonna have the opportunity to talk about the previous breach at all? Or if, like, the only time to bring it up was that time that's already passed. Well, whatever. I like Lydia, and again, I don't necessarily think it's a big deal that the council was killed. If Lydia and Sam want to just leave, I'm kind of inclined to let them do that. I believe Yuri had a plan to get through the seal. I thought you were supposed to be an investigation freak. You've got nothing on me. Yuri was found guilty of KHX's murder, and KHX created the second seal. But I need more than that. Do you have any evidence of him going through the second seal?
Show me your truth.
Yeah, I got some stuff.
Paradise feels wrong.
First of all, the nightmare computer attached to the obelisk shows that Yuri accessed it. This means he knows the secret of the second holy seal, and had the data key from KHX.
Insufferable.
That doesn't prove anything, freak. It doesn't mean I went through. He's right.
Show me your truth.
Yeah, but
Back.
Yuri slipped up under questioning and admitted to knowing the details about the second seal, something he'd only know if he went through it. How about that? Or if he talked to Shinji. Just using the obelisks doesn't mean you would know what's on the other side of the door in the council building. You would have to step through to find out. That doesn't prove he was in there last night. It doesn't prove that he used the key. Someone could have told him what the inside of the second seal looks like.
Show me your truth.
Yeah, but what about all these flowers? The council have to traverse the plateau in space and use astronaut helmets to do so. One had been discarded outside the entrance to the second seal.
The facts and the truth. are
The
not
same pink petals that Yuri wears in his hat were found in the same spot. Is this a joke? Petals? Is that all you've got, freak?
Show me your truth.
I mean, yeah, it's not awesome. Also, I can break his alibi. Tell me about Yuri's alibi. Oh no, the judge didn't know he had one. We should not have brought this up. He claims he was in the celebratory gardens directing the fairy woman. The architect said she saw him earlier in the evening as he left to perform his duties. Do you have anything that contradicts
The
this?
facts and the truth are not
Lydia told me that Yuri was unreachable for a period of time around the murder.
Don't test.
Yuri claims that's a byproduct of the burst from the reality folding drive. There have been instances of that,
Is this a fact?
at the precise time when the entire council were murdered. A troubling coincidence that points to a truth.
You know who
A coincidence proves nothing, actually, which is right. He's right about this.
Guys, all that
Ah, but it doesn't have to.
are the facts.
All I have to show is that there was a gap in your alibi. Gaps breed possibility, and there's a possibility that you weren't where you say you were. And as we all know, if I just suggest that a thing happened, judge decides that's what happened. Your alibi relies on an unprovable coincidence. And there were no other reports of communications blackouts, and past occurrences of them are extremely rare. The court agrees. Yuri Knight's alibi is broken.
Show me your truth.
Alright, well I think that's enough then, probably. You ate my whatever, and then it's time for you to say the magic words.
Finds
Yuri's guilty and has to
I
die.
cannot hide.
Was this part of your orders, Yuri?
When love dies,
Come on,
all that
lay it on.
remains are
Oh,
facts.
does this have anything to do with Carmelina's child? Sorry, what child?
Don't like this.
The truth lies within her alibi. You need to disprove Carmelina's alibi,
This is
investigator.
nonsense.
I had nothing to do with the dreadful events of last night. I was at Witness's apartment all night until we were summoned by Judge for the crisis meeting. That's true. The building logs confirm her entry at 9 p.m. and her exit after the murder. However, are you able to disprove that? Witness stepped out onto his balcony for 5 minutes to take a call from Akiko. Carmelina was unaccounted for in those 5 minutes. It takes more than 5 minutes to get to the council building, commit a crime, and return, doesn't it? And the building logs would have registered her returning.
Sorry.
That's true, except
Truth.
when Carmelina architected the island, she constructed a network of trans-dimensional corridors that allow her to move across the island in an instant. Boy, I hope people believe this. That is absolute nonsense. Secret trans-dimensional corridors. Are you serious? Is the truth really hiding in these bizarre facts?
Repulsive.
I found Carmelina's son in a hidden vault on the mountain. His name was Dainonigate for reasons that remain unclear, and he gave me this key which unlocks the corridors. From this vault, the corridors connect to Witness's apartment and the council building.
Repulsive.
In the 5 minutes Witness was out on his balcony taking a call, Carmelina could have used a corridor to get to the council building. This is a shocking revelation. Can you prove it? Well, I mean, not from in here. Do you want to come outside with me for a sec? Starlight can verify my movements. Oh, thank God. Okay, good.
Do your job.
Good work, Starlight. This is all a lie the investigator cooked up. I have verified Starlight's data. Lady Love Dies is telling the truth, you know, just like always. Why not create a corridor straight into the
I
penthouse?
have a bad feeling about this.
I don't believe you can make a corridor if you don't know the destination. Carmelina has never been to the penthouse, so she couldn't make a corridor to it. There is a corridor leading from outside the penthouse back to Denonigate's vault. I believe he inherited his mother's power to make corridors and escaped back to his room by making a corridor. I never expected anything like this, Love Dies. Carmelina had a window of opportunity and used it to travel via her secret corridors, get Denonigate, and deposit him at the council building. Again, I feel like we're just kind of repeating ourselves. Carmelina went into isolation 25 years ago. Why? No one knows. I mean, it is awfully weird.
Or a truth.
She claimed it was to work on a new project, but no one in the Syndicate ever saw what the result was. I think her new project was birth. Who's the father? Ai's Kiwami. He and Denonigate had the same blood. Well, same-ish. Had? Ai's took his own life years ago, and then also that thing happened again when I found... Listen, I was alone in a room with this guy, but he definitely killed himself. You're just gonna have to believe me. Why? We'll get to it. We'll get to it. It's a whole big, weird, sordid thing. This sounds like a conspiracy. Architect Carmelina's alibi is broken. I hereby declare. I took Carmelina's pet killer through the seal. You took Denonigate through the seal. And the rest of the seals. I delivered the killer to the penthouse. Can you prove that? I'm going down anyway. The third seal is a bloodlock. Denonigate has council blood. Ai's Kiwami. Okay, that's maybe enough of that. We get it. Stuff's happening. She got herself a killer that could bypass the seal.
Paradise feels wrong.
And the fourth seal? You need to have godliness for that one. She took godflesh from Crying Grudge and fused it to Denonigate. The barrier opened right up.
How dare
I'm still not clear on the methodology there. I did no such thing.
I have a bad feeling.
And what happened after that? The kid was supposed to kill everyone, and the second seal would leave him locked in the penthouse. I waited for him to finish. The council were just coming out of their meditation, so they should have all gone down easily. Then I heard gunshots, and the kid came limping out. He created some kind of magic portal in the wall and disappeared. Well, you're suddenly cooperative.
Nonsense.
I've been played. Carmelina messed up, and now I'm going to get a bullet for it. If I'm going down, so's she. And what about Henry? Was he part of the plan? Of course, he was the scapegoat, set up to look like the killer years ago. And what about the blood in Henry's stomach? After the kid disappeared, I went in to get blood from the council. I bottled it and made Henry drink it outside. It was supposed to be the perfect cover. I only grabbed a bit of blood. I mean, it was everywhere. I don't know what it was, but there was something weird in the shadows of that room. That's a weird thing for him to say. There was something weird in the shadows of the room, because by the time he went in there, the demon's already dead, right?
The facts and the truth are not the same.
And that couldn't have been One Last Kiss, right? Because One Last Kiss would still have had to figure out a way through the seals, maybe? I don't know what her deal is. Alright, well, anything to say, Carmelina?
cowardly to insinuate investigation.
You sniveling little servants. I am trying to achieve perfection. Oh, she's about to confess. I created Perfect 25.
Pardon?
This is how you repay me? You all make me sick. You turn on each other as soon as it aids you.
Is this a fact? Or
So,
a truth?
did you create a child to kill the council? Don't dare to accuse me, freak. I have nothing to say to you. Okay, well, I mean, this is looking pretty conclusive, though. Yeah, this I think is where we are going to go ahead and stop for today. So, thank you all so much for watching. This has turned into a little bit more of an ordeal than I thought it was going to. Definitely aided by the fact that the developers of the game just love to put more words. Just, you know what? Does this sequence have enough words? Yes? Well, let's double them. When you come back next time, tomorrow, we hopefully are going to finish this trial, and then I guess I'm personally going to have to execute a bunch of people, so not looking forward to that part as much. But come back next time for that. You should look forward to it. And we'll see you then.